Right, Peter, thank you ever so much for talking to us.
Pleasure.
I'll take you back a little bit to the beginning of your railway journey, because it didn't just start with, some people think, celebrities, but your railway journey started before
1948.
Yeah.
So I was born next to a railway line. At the end of the war, when there was a coal shortage, because I was born in the worst winter for 100 years, and so the colliery was on the line by my house. So obviously, throughout January, the coal trains were going up and down 24 hours a day. So I presume that's what got me into it. I don't know, but I mean, I must have been indoctrinated with the sound of Super D's, because that's what there was on the line. But I've never been without it ever since. So my dad, we lived with my granddad, and they went to see Coventry City play Northampton Town on December, the Christmas Eve, as it was in those days. And the bus stopped outside Bassett Loke, so he bought me a train set for Christmas, my granddad.
Yeah.
It was only a clockwork wine or around that. Never been without one since.
For those too young to know, and even for those of us who do know about Pete Waterman's music career, he came from nothing. Pete Waterman may now be known as a TV personality to the younger people, but he is a self-made man starting from nothing. He got a job on the railways, progressed to fireman, which is hard graft of a kind most of us nowadays never face. From there, he worked briefly in the coal mine before progressing through several other jobs. And fast forward, brilliant music career with a couple of hits.
Yeah, but throughout I still had a model railway. So my office and the studios, I had 8 studios in Manchester and London. They all had model railways in them. That was part, so that I could, if it was too intense, I could break off and just have a relief from that. Also, it was a talking point with a lot of artists where you could literally just talk something other than music.
Yeah.
So it's been there, and then when we did Pop Idol was so,
it looked quite intense,
but it was so, the impact was on television was so immense. It was like an earthquake.
Yeah.
Obviously it became the world's biggest television format, and so I'd done lots of television by then through The Hitman and Her.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Simon hadn't done television, but he'd worked with me on The Hitman and Her. So if I needed an act and I couldn't find one for Saturday night, Simon would find me one.
Right.
So, and we'd been friends for 20 years by then.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah. So
I worked for him after I left television, so it's kind of
right. So it was ITV. I was asked to do a documentary with ABBA.
Yeah, I love that, by the way.
Right. Well, that was when ABBA were coming back, and so they wanted to do this television program with ABBA, and they would only do it if I presented it. That was the deal that Born and Bianchi did. So I went out to Scandinavia, to Sweden, and I did this documentary, and we came back and I did the bits. It was huge.
Yeah.
Huge. 16 million viewers.
Yeah. I'm jealous because I'm a big fan of them. The multi-layers of their music.
Oh, brilliant.
Of course, music was Pete's other love, and he bought records with his wages. Lots of records. Soon, part-time DJing became regular work at clubs, where he noticed the younger audience loved the upbeat dance numbers. He would remember this. Club DJing led to radio DJing, and then a job in the record industry. This brought him into contact with musicians and collaborations on songwriting, the first hits. And with the money from this success, he set up Pete Waterman Limited. And then he brought in record producers Stock and Aitken. Between them, Stock Aitken and Waterman produced hits throughout the 80s and 90s with many artists. Peter would write upbeat, dance-orientated songs for artists from Kylie to Steps, Sunita to Rick Astley, and many, many others. Popular at nightclubs and parties, they were the sound of their era, and now, rightly, becoming recognised as classics in their genre. So far more than just a face on the TV.
So I got a call from the lady that ran ITV, Claudia Rosenkranz, and said, "Have you done anything else?" I happened to have done a railway programme for Channel 5.
Yes.
It was called Pete Waterman's Trains, but they didn't like it. They didn't want to show it. Right. So I said, "Well, I've done a 4-part series for Channel 5 about railways." She said, "Well, I know nothing about railways." She said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll get them to send it round and I'll have a look at it." Well, it wasn't 50 minutes later the phone went and go, "It's brilliant. We love it. So we're putting it on Sunday night at 7:30. We've changed the schedule, we'll put it on." And it was huge. It was absolutely enormous. And it sort of catapulted me into realising that there was the same stigma of railways that there was about certain types of music.
Yes, absolutely.
Television didn't look at the public and say, "Would you watch a programme on model railways?" It went, people think of model railways as nerds.
It's like my brothers that grew up an enthusiast like my father and I. He's got a girlfriend, deeply in love with her, and she said, "That's sad, they're sad with that."
Yeah, it's fine.
And he's had to leave it. You know.
Well, that's more fool him.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
I mean,
I understand. More fool him.
Oh, yeah.
You should say, "Yes, I'm sad."
Yeah.
And be proud of it, which is what I've always done.
Oh, I'm
when
not.
people are going, "I'm a nerd," yes, I'm a nerd, but I'm a super nerd. Don't think I'm a nerd.
I'm a successful nerd, thank you.
No, I'm a super nerd. If it's like, I remember in the old days, going back, when the railway modeller used to put average on the front. For the average modeller, I always said to them, "I don't want to be an average modeller."
Yeah.
So I wouldn't buy your magazine
Yeah.
because it's got the word average. I'm not average. I want to be special.
Yeah. recent times, they've always been enthusiasts. You've got Frank Sinatra, you've got Joe Brown was a railway enthusiast. You've got lots of musicians. Is there a correlation in the arts?
Yeah, intense.
Do you think?
Intensity.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you're into music, you've got to be into the notes, the way it works, the cadences, the combinations, the way it rises and falls. It's the same with railways. Yeah. It's exactly, if you're not into the detail, you're not into railways.
Yeah.
Because it's about timetables, it's about structures, it's about different classes of locomotives, what will pull this, what wouldn't pull that, the incline here. If you're not into detail, you are not into railways. In other words, if you're not a nerd, you're not a railway enthusiast.
I mean, for me, I always say to people, if you come to a railway exhibition, even if you're not into trains, look at the scenery, the detail that someone's put into it, because there you've got a sculpture, you've got
it's art,
and it's moving.
No, it's art.
Yeah.
It's art. It's like, that's what we did with Jules Holland. We said, he said, this is like my brains poured out in 3D, and it is art, because we have to paint, and it's sculpture.
It is.
So yeah. But if you call yourself an artist, so this is the whole argument with Rod Stewart. If Rod Stewart would have been a painter, he would have been a very famous painter now.
Yes.
The fact that he's probably one of the best modelers in the world, he's having to hide himself.
Incredible.
He's having to sort of hide behind. It's took him ages to admit that he's a model railway modeller. Yeah, his modelling is staggering.
It is. It's absolutely
staggering.
incredible.
Yeah, if he was a sculptor, he'd be really famous.
So, making tracks, when did the idea start? And it wasn't a case of it was an 8 before and sorry missus, I'm coming through the kitchen. It was all planned, wasn't it?
No, the Making Tracks brand came about because it was the 200th anniversary of the death of Thomas Brassey, and his chapel is in Chester Cathedral, and they had a very successful Lego exhibition, and the Dean, and it was very expensive, by the way, the Dean wanted to do something more, raise a bit more money for the cathedral. So he actually approached me as a consultant to work with this company he was talking to about building this model railway. So I got involved quite naively, and I mean naively. Suddenly I saw what they were doing and how much they were charging, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute here, what's going on? I said to the Dean, no, this is nonsense. Got a couple of mates, let me talk to them, and I'm sure we can get, we can build you something. And we did, the idea. But of course the great thing is, sometimes accidents are great things. COVID happened, so our original idea for Making Tracks was totally thrown out the window.
I've noticed here and at exhibitions, a lot of autistic children benefit so much.
Well, we specialise in that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've specialised in autistic problems since we went into the cathedral first time, and I spotted this. Wow, because I'm, for the first time in my life, I realised I was probably, at some point, I would have been on the spectrum. Because I couldn't read or write till I was 30. I never saw that as a problem, neither did anybody else who was honest about it. I could see that in a modern day world, I'd be classed as autistic.
Yeah.
It never held me back, and it never worried me. But I was interested to see the modern way that... So these kids that came that were obviously autistic fascinated me, because I saw myself in them. And I said, that's... Because there was no difference when I was a kid, nobody knew, nobody took any notice. They just treated me as normal. I thought, well, I'll treat these kids as normal. We'll make it...
Yes.
If they want to run around, they run around. It's fine. If they want to touch the trains, they touch the trains. Wow. Let's take the barriers away. I said to the dean at Chester, let's take the barriers away. Let the kids do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
If they want to scream and shout because they're excited, let's encourage them to not feel any rules.
Penned in and...
No. And we've worked on that since day one, and now we've got a psychiatrist on board, so we look at ways of pushing it forward.
And the interaction, allowing the children to have...
That's all in.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that came about because I saw it, and I was like, wait, got it. Let's get the kids involved.
Yeah.
Let's, really teach them that if they've got problems, let's get around those problems,
Yeah.
We've got some particular kids that come every year. Of course, as we're doing this interview, the kids have only just broken up from school today, which is unusual for us.
Yeah.
Because normally we do it during school holidays.
Yeah.
So we've had younger kids, but today we've started to see the older kids coming. So we've had a couple of lads that are let out from school to come here because that's part of their programs. We've had those. But the majority of kids that we'll see, and they'll come 3 times.
Yeah.
With their mum or with their dad.
Yeah, there's a
their
couple
grand.
here that have said, I heard them saying,
back
again. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So now, this weekend, up till Christmas Eve, we'll see a lot of our autistic friends.
Yeah.
Because they know they'll come. They feel comfortable, they know that they can do what they want. They've seen me on the telly, so they get it. It's like they watch my shows in the morning. The mum will say, he's watched the show before he's come, because he wants to ask you questions. They know they can. And, I feel we don't do enough to get over the problems, and
yeah,
we need to rethink the problem through. I just think it's too easy to give a name to something if you're not going to deal with it. You've got this, you've got that. Everybody's got some sort of allergy.
Yeah.
Well, I like allergies. I'd be an expert in allergies if I knew what allergy I needed. I just think instead of giving things a title, we work around it,
Yeah. And also, everybody has a gift. Whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It's there. You just got to reach it.
Everybody's good at something.
Yeah.
Well done, Henry. Well done. You're steady. Stop at the station if you like. You don't have to.
Yes, brilliant.
Okay, so.
Listen, I've made my life and fortune of being part of a team, and if in my opinion, if you don't have teamwork, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
No man is an island, and that's a true saying. It's as true today as it was 2 centuries ago. If you work together, you will achieve anything you want to achieve. If you try and do it on your own, you will fail. I don't care, even if you think you've done it on your own, like most singers do, you ain't. There's a team behind you.
Yeah.
And it's only when you acknowledge that team that makes great artists, whether they be painters, songwriters, singers, whatever. When you acknowledge that you are not an island, you'll be successful.
And I was going to say, at the end of the interview, is there a message you want to put across? You've just done it brilliantly.
Yeah, well, it's the truth, you know. Look at this. It's not me. It's a team.
Yeah.
I lead the team. I give them enthusiasm, but just to making tracks team that build it. There's 7 of us.
Yeah.
7 or 8 of us.
And for 7 or 8 people, that is impressive.
Yeah.
You know, as a model, I know what goes into
But
doing
I'm
that.
driving it.
Yeah.
So I know what we've got to achieve, because that's what I do with companies.
Yeah.
So I say, guys, let's stop talking now. We've got this to do. And the guys go, yeah, okay. They know that that's what they've got to do. When you run the exhibition like this, we've got 14, 15 volunteers. Chris knows, and all the volunteer knows what they have to do. And you can see that's why I'm doing this interview. I don't need that. I've done my part.
Yeah.
My part is building the layout and putting all the enthusiasts together to make it work.
Well, as a railway enthusiast and a fan of the music and the work, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Or in the tunnel. Baby goes to